The time has come and the embargo has lifted, and I can finally talk about the Lies of P Overture DLC that I got to play at the preview event I attended. The preview event was split into 2 different builds, and in one build, we got a little over an hour in one of the new locations at the Krat Zoo. It's a frozen tundra, although we learn from Gemini that it didn't always look like this, but in classic Lies of P dystopian fashion, something horrible has happened here.
Wait. Something's not right.
The roaming animals are disfigured and monstrous, and there's lots of body horror going on with them. And we do see some Krat residents affected by the petrification disease, so I'm assuming that the animals, unfortunately, are also victims to the same thing. So there's lots of completely new enemy designs just in this one level, and I loved all of the different biomes of the zoo. I was worried about time, and I wanted to make sure that I could explore as much as I could to show it off, so I ran through the level just to see how far I could get, and it's massive. There's definitely going to be a lot to explore, and a good level layout is something that really stands out to me, and even only playing this for a short amount of time, I could tell that the DLC has the same amount of attention and detail and design as the main game. There were a few new weapons and Legion arms that I got to play with, and I freaked out when I saw that they have a bow, because I love ranged combat since I'm such a wimp, and fighting up close is something that can scare me sometimes. So having the bow is an awesome new addition that I can see being really useful to draw attention from afar. The next weapon I got to play with was the Pale Knight, which is a super cool blade with a bullet element so that you can slash and then shoot upon the end of the attack loop. And then possibly my new favorite, which is the Death's Talons, and these are handheld blades that are just straight up Wolverine, and fighting with them was so much fun. And the 2 new Legion arms that I got to mess around with were the Icarus, which fires multiple revolving blades, and Cataclysm, which has this really powerful shotgun pellet attack that you can pre-load and then release later. It seemed OP as heck, so I know I will be having fun taking out enemies with this. And listen, if you know me, if you know the type of games I play and my playstyle, you know that I'm notoriously not that great at this whole parrying, dodging, and blocking combat, and it's probably just always going to be a struggle for me because I'm greedy and impatient. I'm a hack and slasher. So when they told us at the preview that there would be a day 1 patch for different difficulty settings, I heard angels singing above me because someone like me, I really appreciate difficulty settings, so thank you to the developers for making that an option. We will now have Butterfly's Guidance and Awakened Puppet, and these settings will vary in terms of intense combat encounters. And the default difficulty setting for the game is now going to be called Legendary Stalker. In the other demo build, I actually got to play around with the difficulty settings during the Battle Memories mode, which is a boss replay mode. This is going to be included in the base game patch as well, and you are going to be able to revisit past boss battles. You can test your gameplay prowess during the Battle Memories mode across 5 different difficulty settings ranging from 1 to 5. I was able to beat all of the new bosses on level 1, but I didn't get very far on level 3. Just to give you an idea of the difficulty ramp between levels 1 and 3. There's also a death march mode in which you can line up bosses with a minimum of 3, and you have limited resources and limited health to see just how far you get in this boss rush challenge. While we weren't given access to that footage to share because they want to keep it a surprise, all of the upcoming new bosses, it was a lot of fun, and it gave me an opportunity to really have an extended amount of time to play around with the new weapons and the Legion arms and the Fable arts. There was one new boss that I did get footage of, however, and unfortunately I was not able to defeat it before the demo preview ended, so you can take my sloppy gameplay of me getting my butt whooped by this reptile, but I swear all I needed was like 10 more minutes, and then I would have wasted this guy. The bosses are going to hit hard in the DLC. Some of those fights were brutal and punishing. And yeah, it reminds me just how difficult the boss fights were in Lies of P. And the DLC is definitely going to bring you a lot more challenging boss fights. One of my personal favorite things about Lies of P and what really drew me to it was the incredible story and unraveling what happened to this once beautiful metropolis. And I was so happy to see a ton of new little lore tidbits in this demo. I think that this DLC is going to be featuring some time-traveling, meddling storyline and possibly looking at an alternate timeline of Krat. But that's just my educated guess. The game director, Ji-won Choi, was very careful about making sure that he didn't reveal anything about the story during our Q&A session, and I love that he cares so much about spoilers and making sure that people are going to be surprised and in shock when they play the DLC. And as far as technical issues to report, I have none. It performed without a single hitch, and I played with a controller. I don't know the computer specs, but nothing crashed on me or lagged, so I have nothing but good news to report on that front. The venue where this event was hosted was absolutely gorgeous. It was a 1920s mansion built during the silent film era of Hollywood, overlooking the hillside in LA, and it was just really perfect for the vibe they wanted to create. I felt like a starlet that night. I felt so fancy. And one thing about this demo event that really, really impressed me beyond how organized and polished and beautiful everything was that NeoWiz invited all of the Discord moderators from the Lies of P Discord server out to this event so that they could experience this evening and they could play the demo. And for a game studio to do that, to invite the managing moderators of their online community as a thank you, as an appreciation, because they said without them championing Lies of P and making it a global success and talking to people about it, it wouldn't be possible, the success. And I was so blown away by that level of recognition and appreciation for the community. That isn't something that you really get to see these days with game studios, especially the bigger they are. So the fact that they flew all of their moderators out there to this event so that they could play the demo it was really touching. Overall, the preview event was such a perfectly magical evening, and it got me even more hyped for the Overture DLC. We don't have a release date yet, but we do know that it's going to be $29.99, and you can bet that as soon as I learn anything new, I will be updating you. And to all of the incredible people I met that night and made it possible for me and so many others to attend, Caitlin and Kayla from Zebra Partners, and Sun, Glenn, Allen, and Ji-won from NeoWiz, it was such a pleasure getting to meet everyone, and I will forever be grateful for this incredible experience. Thanks so much for watching my video recap of the event and the demo, and I'll see you next time.